Hi everyone, my name's Ruby. I'm an ear health coordinator at AMSANT and fellow audiologist, and I'll be running you through how audiologists can use Communicare. So it's super important that audiologists do use Communicare because it allows us to better integrate with primary health care and the medical kind of side of otitis media and related hearing loss. And it also allows us to coordinate better with other visiting audiology services. Now, these are just a guide about how you can use Communicare, but it is best to check in with individual clinics and services about how they prefer their ear and hearing information to be captured by audiology programs. So Communicare is usually located on the desktop of the computer that you'll be using, but if you can't find it, you can always go ahead and navigate to the search bar and type it in as I'm doing here. You double click on it and then put in your username and password or the credentials that the service has provided you with. You'll come to this kind of menu / navigation panel, and what you can do is double click where it says your name, and this allows you to change parameters of your encounter. The main ones that you might change are the place, so you can change this on the clinic that you go to, or you can also change your encounter mode. So if you're seeing a person face-to-face for an actual consult, this should be set to Aboriginal Health Service. But if you're just doing a file review or uploading a document and you don't actually see the client, this should be admin. So next we're going to actually enter into a client record. So you'll click on the folder that says clinical record and then search to find the patient, usually by first, last name. You can also search by date of birth or HRN if necessary. Once the client that you're after comes up, you check the parameters to make sure it's the right client, and then double click to enter the record. If the client has an appointment that day or has seen another clinician that day, this screen will come up. So you can either add on to an encounter, or if it was you going into that file previously, you can highlight this encounter and enter in that way. If it wasn't related to you and it's another encounter, you can click no, start a new service. So this is the main landing page when you open a client, and you'll see that across the top that there's 3 tabs, which is the main summary. So if you click for something to be displayed on the main summary, this is where it will come up: progress notes and details. Also down here we have the recall section. So if someone has an outstanding audiology assessment recall or e-health check recall or anything like that, you can look and find it in this area. If we click into progress notes, you'll see on the right-hand side an area for you to write notes, and it has your name. And once again, if you click on your name here, you can change the service parameters. So where you're giving the service, or whether it's an Aboriginal Health Service encounter or admin, no client contacting. Once you're in progress notes, you can click these little 3 arrows, upward arrows, and filter the progress notes. So the best way to do this is to do it by specialty down the bottom here and type in audiologist. So all the previous encounters from an audiologist will come up, and you can see a person's journey. Another really good way to find ear and hearing history is under this details tab. So if I click into this, then click the topic button, a lot of tabs will come up, and there's an ear tab. If a person doesn't have an ear tab, it just means nothing's been coded under this topic. But this gives an overview of all ear and hearing related items. So even the primary healthcare items around ear disease will come up here. In the Details tab, you can also filter via class. So click the class button and look at documents. So this is a good way to bring up documents that haven't been coded. And here you can search by word. So the word that someone might have titled something. So you could type in ear, hearing, audiology, ENT. It'll come up with ENT referrals. And any other documents that might be relevant. You can repeat this when clicking the date button, and once again it'll bring up all relevant kind of encounters that have those keywords by date, so you get a timeline view. You can also repeat the search by keyword under the referrals tab of Communicare. So again, ENT referrals or audiology referrals might come up here. So for the purposes of this video in Communicare, a referral is often done when someone hasn't been seen by an audiologist yet. So it might be identified by primary healthcare that someone needs an audiology assessment, and they might put a referral for audiology on, and they might specify in the referral which audiology service they mean, or they might just have it broad for the next audiology service visiting. A recall is for when someone has already had an audiology service, so normally this will be set by an audiologist themselves, and it's really the review time. So we might be looking at an annual review to monitor for family history of hearing loss, or a 3-month review if there's presence of middle ear disease. So here we are back on the main summary page, and you can see here the referrals and recall area that I showed you earlier. So if there's a audiology referral, all you have to do is double click it. It'll come up with this box asking you know what you want to do, and you'll say you wish to complete the referral. And then out of all the drop downs, all you really need to put in is the date in which the referral was completed, so the date in which you're seeing the person, and the organisation that you come from. Now, the recall section can be a little more complicated because we've only just implemented the audiology assessment item. So a recall could be for a hearing assessment item or an ear health check. There's no telling that it'll actually be the audiology assessment item. My recommendation is to always use the audiology assessment clinical item, and I'll show you how to do that shortly. But if there is an audiology related recall, you can still double click it and service it, and then just put in the note at the top, if it's not the audiology assessment item, that details of the assessment can be found under the audiology assessment item. But hopefully, as we get some more consistency and people using this item, it'll always just be a recall for the audiology assessment item. Hopefully I won't have to say audiology assessment item so many times moving forward. That being said, I'm going to show you how to service an audiology assessment clinical item recall. So same as with the referral, you just double click it and then tick the box that says complete it, and it'll automatically open up into the clinical item. So it'll have the reason that the recall was added in the top comment box here. So it might say, review in 3 months to see if middle ear effusion's persisting, or check in on a hearing aid, or whatever. You can just put your data in directly here and then click save. Now, if you're seeing someone and they don't have a audiology related referral or recall, you can still access the clinical item by clicking clinical items right in the top left corner here and searching by keyword, and then just type in audiol and it'll come up with audiology assessment, and you can just double click that and it will take you to the exact same clinical item. And then basically an important thing is that you put the service you're visiting from in. So because it's a central item, the national ones only have Hearing Australia because it's the only national program, but in the Congress communities, we've added NT Hearing and Congress Audiology into those drop downs. If you select other though, it'll have a space for you to write what service you're visiting from. Then on this landing page, they're all just tick boxes. So really quick, you can just select the presenting concerns, and again, it's got a comment box if you need. Then you just work horizontally through the tabs and fill out everything that's relevant to your consult. You do not have to fill every single thing in if you didn't do it. Feel free to leave things blank, but great to add in information where you can. So then you just go ahead and fill in the item, working down and then across the tabs, as I said. Acoustic reflexes is here for Medicare claiming purposes. And again, just leave anything blank that you didn't get information for. Now, one really important feature of Communicare is this little timeline view button, which you can click for any of the qualifiers, and it will give you a timeline view of all the data that's been put against that kind of item. So when we're looking at multiple audiology services visiting a community, this means that you could see, that a different audiology service provider had seen them 6 months ago and they had otitis media with effusion then. If they have otitis media with effusion now, that triggers onward referral to ENT, or means that it's persistent otitis media with effusion. So hopefully by integrating the results across audiology service providers, we can have faster and better outcomes for our communities. Things to note is if you're with an audiology service that travels with a nurse, just leave the ear diagnosis qualifier blank, because they'll presumably be doing it in their own clinical item and it'll write across kind of to this item. If you are from another audiology service that doesn't travel with a nurse, it's really helpful to put in a diagnosis if you can. If you want to upload your audiology report or audiogram or another attachment, you just navigate to the paperclip button at the top there, click on that, navigate to the desired document in your own files, double click it, and then it will come up again with this little landing page. If you want there to be a notification that the document has to be reviewed, so say you're recommending ENT referral, you can leave this reviewed thing blank and it'll come up as a notification for the next, or for the people that enter that file. If it's just doesn't need to be reviewed by a medical practitioner, I tick the reviewed box. And the most important thing is that you name it so that it can be found. So audiology report, hearing report, by some of the means that I showed you earlier in this video. And also here under topic, tag it under ear. So this means that when we're looking for it, people can easily find this information. Alright, so now I'll show you how to add a recall, which is the best way to highlight that a person needs ongoing care, whether that be through a medical practitioner or audiology service. So basically you go to the recall section at the top here and click on the button that says browse by all item types, which is the top button, and then you can just type in by keyword what you're looking for. So if you wanted to put an audiology recall because someone needs review audiology assessment, you can just search for audio and click audiology assessment, and in this box at the top you would write why they need audiology assessment, and you can also then specify the preferred provider. So if they need to be reviewed by the Hearing Health Program for teleotology purposes, you could write that here, or if it's a hearing aid specific recall, so it needs to be done by Hearing Australia, you could say that too. Otherwise, if it's just a generic review that could be done by anyone, you can write that. And then you use this calendar function to set the date that the recall is due. So whether that be 3 months, 6 months, or a year from today, use the calendar to set that. And then you can leave all the other parameters and click save. So another recall you might like to set is if someone has a condition where they need referral to the ear, nose and throat specialist, whether outpatients or teleotology. So you can use the same procedure, click on recall and search by keyword, but this time you could search consult space other, and it will come up with this item called consult other GP/AHP ear. You could select that, and basically again in the comments box write what's needed, referral where to and why, and where they can kind of refer to find the supporting notes. And if that's due today, you can just set the recall to today's date and it will come out as outstanding. So the next time a GP sees that client, they know that needs to be done. Because an ENT referral can only be done by a doctor or a GP, you can also modify the responsibility kind of parameter if you want and save that. And you can see, because we put the due date as today, that it then comes up as red or, due in this person's recalls. So if someone needs a review by a medical practitioner, but doesn't necessarily have to be a doctor, could be a nurse or an Aboriginal health practitioner, this might be because they have an active infection that needs treatment or a foreign body or whatever. You follow the same steps, clicking recall search by click keyword, but this time search ear health in the search bar and then click on the checkup ear health comprehensive item. Again, it will prompt you to set a date for this. If they need it immediately, you can set it as today or the day before, and it will come up as red, so needs urgent attention. And in the comments box, it's best to write the reason why they need that. So you could put, acute otitis media with perforation needs treatment or whatever. All right, and now you know everything I know about Communicare. It's a lot to take in just one video, so we've also made some written guides and cheat sheets about how to remember all of this that you can take with you out on communities so you can remember. And these are available on the AMSANT website, AMSANT eHealth. And if you ever have any questions or queries about this, please feel free to email me at ruby.bethune, Bethun, for Nelly, at amsant.org.au. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.